Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Lawson, Head of Corporate Affairs. Today we're talking with Jay Craig, CBH's Head of Marketing and Trading, and we're talking about global grain markets and CBH's presence in the market this year. Hi Jay, it's been a volatile year for grain markets this year, particularly with the Ukraine war. What's the impact from that war on grain markets?
Hi Rebecca. The impact has been quite serious on the world grain markets, with Russia and the Ukraine being about 25 to 30% of the world wheat exports. Of course, we did see earlier this year when the war commenced, prices rallying significantly. But now it's all about what will happen either with the Ukraine grain corridor or any other aspect of the war that has seen the volatility in the market. Of course, if the Ukraine grain corridor is stopped, this will see markets rally significantly. But on the other hand, if this continues to open up and more grain is accessed out of the Ukraine, this could see the markets start to fall, as demand will then soften, as many of our buyers are very uncertain about the economic conditions in their markets.
So just to follow up to that, Jay, why is the wheat basis in the negative?
Wheat basis has been in the negative for some time, and the real reason is that the correlation between cash prices in Australia and in other parts of the world compared to Chicago is not that strong. Traditionally, the correlation is 0.75 or above, and today it's around 0.4 to 0.5, which statistically says it's a low correlation. Therefore, the US market is running on its own compared to international values, and that's why we're seeing these negative basis.
So Jay, what is happening with grain demand at the moment, what with all the volatility that's happening?
Beck, I've been travelling the world, as you know, over the last few months, assessing what we think demand will be going in the future here. It's quite clear in Asia that most of our customers are concerned about what's happening in their economies, and this could see demand slow in the second half of next year. But of course, in places like the Middle East, with strong oil prices, we're seeing stronger demand for products, albeit sometimes the structure of the market has changed. And I use Saudi as an example. The Saudi economy is very, very strong. However, we are now seeing them replace feed barley with compound feed, mainly produced from corn. So whilst demand for feed is continually growing, what is actually happening is demand for feed barley is going down. And where traditionally they would take 8 million tonnes per year, this year it's forecast to be 4 million tonnes. So whilst we're seeing strong economies in the Middle East, there is a structural change in some of the products that they have been using. And so that is something that we must be mindful of.
So that's all well and good, the Russia-Ukraine war that's having a big impact on global grain prices. But what about the East Coast? What with the floods that are happening there? What kind of impact is that having on grain markets?
I think, Rebecca, that's going to have quite a big impact on grain markets, and we're already starting to see that. And with rainfall over South Australia over the weekend and also in New South Wales, this has the potential to impact the quality of the crop, but also delay harvest. And this is being reflected in prices as we see premium wheats like APW, AH at a significant premium to ASW and feed wheats. That'll be similar for malting and feed barley, and I suspect that will continue for some time. But of course, with a delayed harvest, we'll see some opportunities for Western Australian growers as people look to be able to try and price some of the shipments that could be loading in the coming weeks.
So Jay, what is CBH Marketing and Trading's position this year, and how are you going to approach the challenges and opportunities to support WA growers?
Well, without doubt, there's been a change in circumstances in the West Australian market, and whilst the overall shipping capacity from CBH operations is slightly higher than last season, it's pretty clear that there are a number of players in the market, In fact, approximately 18 players participated in the shipping slots this year. So compared to previous years, the portion of shipping capacity that marketing and trading hold has been reduced. In addition, we've got consecutive large harvests, and that is also impacting the overall capacity. And it does feel that different zones will have a different pricing aspect to them, where the supply and demand is distinctly different depending on the zone.
Also, for this season, CBH Marketing and Trading have introduced a dynamic pricing strategy. Can you just explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the dynamic pricing strategy is to ensure that we can reflect international values for Western Australian growers and maximise their returns. What we have done is we're obviously in the market with quite aggressive pricing this year, significantly higher than the competition, but still within our trading mandate to ensure that we can create that value. But there is only limited tonnages that we can do this with, and as growers are seeing, we are meeting those or hitting those limits very quickly on a daily basis. But we want to continue this because we believe that that is reflecting the international market and ensuring that more money is going into Western Australian growers' pockets.
There's a lot of talk amongst growers out there that the price disparity between local and international prices is about $150 per tonne. Is this true?
This is not true, and we don't know where this $150 margin is coming from. But I can tell you that margins are less than a third of that. And so the reason that we are continuing with our dynamic pricing strategy is to ensure that we can minimise those margins and maximise the returns for Western Australian growers.
The huge demand does mean that there are some growers that are not able to successfully contract. What has CBH done to try and get more growers, fairer access to M&T's prices?
Well, the key thing that we've done is on a daily basis, we limit the contract total to 200 tonnes per contract. And this has ensured that more growers are getting access to those contracts. And I think this has been an important point because right at the beginning, obviously people were writing larger contracts and therefore the diversity of contracts was a lot smaller and a lot less growers were getting them. Of course, we will continue to be in the market throughout harvest and beyond to be able to provide everyone with the opportunity to contract. So they are two things that we've done.
For those that are missing out, are there any tips that you could provide as to how they can sell their grain this season?
We acknowledge this is really challenging, and particularly for growers that are in areas where internet access is a lot slower than others. And so we do acknowledge that there are some challenges with this, but there are probably four key things that I think are important. The first one is you continue to use LoadNet as this is the quickest and easiest way. Two, you can put your grain on a platform like Marketplace where you can put at your leisure your price and your tonnage for the market to pick up. You can also wait 3 for our deferred sales pool that will start on the 5th of December. If you want more details on that, please look at our website or contact one of our BRMs. And 4, talking to other marketers to at least match or better the CBH price because we are reflecting the international values.
Thanks for your time, Jay, and for your insights. Is there anything else you would like to share or emphasise with WA growers?
Thanks, Rebecca, and thanks to WA growers for continuing to support CBH. This year we will continue with our dynamic pricing strategy, and I just want to assure growers we will continue to have prices throughout harvest and beyond. I wish all the growers in WA a safe and successful harvest, and we look forward to continuing to work with you during this year and into the future.